Assalamualaikum and a very good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to our webinar on Learning Technology Design Method. I'm Dr. Muhammad Faisal Farish bin Ishaq from English Language Teaching Center, and I am delighted to be your moderator for today's session. I'm actually thrilled to see so many of you here for various corners of the world, around the countries, and all united by a common interest in the intersection of technology and education. Ladies and gentlemen, today's webinar promises to be an enlightening experience as we delve into the intricacies of the learning technology design method, specifically focusing on the technological and pedagogical knowledge domains within the TPCK framework. And as many of you may already know, this framework is pivotal in guiding educators and instructional designers in effectively integrating technology into teaching and learning. So before we introduce our esteemed speaker, Dr. Muhammad Hafiz bin Muhammad Hanif, let us take a moment to understand the foundation upon which today's discussion is built, which is the TPCK framework. Yeah? So the TPCK framework, or the Technological Pedagogical Content Knowledge Framework, is a renowned educational framework that highlights the need for educators to possess expertise in three knowledge domains. The first one is technological knowledge, second is pedagogical knowledge, and the content knowledge as well. So the true magic happens at the intersection of these domains, where educators leverage their understanding to design and implement effective technology-enhanced learning experience. So, ladies and gentlemen, today's webinar would shine a spotlight on the TPCK domains of TPCK domains framework, and specifically, we also will explore how educators can effectively blend their technological and pedagogical knowledge to create meaningful learning experiences that harness the full potential of technology. So, I'm pleased to introduce our distinguished speaker, Dr. Muhammad Hafiz bin Muhammad Hanif. For your information, he is a renowned expert in education and technology, hailing from the Faculty of Human Development at University Pendidikan Sultan Idris, Malaysia. And with years of experience and a deep passion for enhancing learning through technology, he is the perfect guide to lead us through today's journey into the learning technology design method. And his research and expertise span various areas within the field of educational technology, and his insights also have been instrumental in shaping the way we approach technology integration in education. And before we hand the virtual microphone over to him, Dr. Muhammad Hafiz, so let us take a quick look at the agenda for today's webinar. First, I will say that we will introduce you to the TPCK framework a little bit. We'll provide a comprehensive understanding. And then the intersection of TP knowledge domains, where Dr. Muhammad Hafiz will guide us through the intersection of technological pedagogical knowledge. And number three, learning technology design method. Our speaker will delve into the learning technology design method by sharing insights and best practices. And last but not least, we will have question and answer session. So, ladies and gentlemen, without further ado, let's welcome Dr. Muhammad Hafiz bin Muhammad Hanif to the virtual stage. So, Dr. Muhammad Hafiz, the floor is yours.
Assalamualaikum and a very good day to everyone. Hi, my name is Hafiz. Only my students call me doctor. So we are all colleagues here, so you are free to call me Hafiz by my name, not Hanif. That's my father's name. Otherwise, you will cause my father to cough. All right. So I'm here. I'm very honored to be invited into this webinar, and I've been informed that ELTC has been at the forefront of pushing the um, uh, the talks and also the knowledge exchange initiatives, particularly in the realms of language and also technology. So I'm very honored here to be here today as a speaker. All right. And I think I'm not going to just speak, I'm going to share with all of you my own experience, because I don't think I am that the perfect guy as what Dr. Faisal Farish has described me eloquently. I don't consider myself as a perfect kind of like person to be talking to you or be telling you things about technology, because you and I know technology and education is a very messy thing. Everybody have their own experience, and I hope that I what I share today might add some value, or probably, hopefully, a new knowledge, a new dimension, a new perspective to all of you who are attending in today's session. So, just a little bit of a background about me. Yes, I am a senior lecturer in UPSI under Faculty of Human Development. And currently, I am in my secondment duration. I've been seconded to the industry under Siaga X Group as their Chief Technology Officer. And the Siaga X group is our office is here in Bangi. So weekdays I'm usually in Bangi. So anybody who are within the vicinity, just holler me and we'll have a cuppa, inshallah. Not much there, and I'm also, apart from being the CTO of Siaga X, I'm also uh, I have I have the privilege to serve as the director of strategic for MAPI Malaysia. For those who are not familiar with MAPI Malaysia, MAPI Malaysia is an NGO, humanitarian, focused on a lot of things. We send aids, we advocate, especially in Palestinian issues, Syrian refugees, and things like that. So I'm also actively involved in those kind of things. It's part of my passion. And yeah, moving on to our agenda for today, um, I would like to talk a bit about uh, my own belief when it comes to pedagogy and technology. Pedagogy and technology, I think a lot of us, especially us educators, these two terms are, has become like a second nature for us. Like, things, pedagogies and technologies, we deal with these two concepts in daily basis, right? Whether we are aware or not. So what I want to bring onto the table is my belief in the creative pedagogies that leverages technologies. I think it is not that new, or there's no novelty in that kind of statement, because everybody knows creative pedagogy is preferred in any kind of instructional context, right? And I really want to kill myself when I say this, because that what I find more and more, time and time again, is that there are not many people who are, people here means teachers, educators, us. Not many of us are that adventurous enough with their own pedagogy, right? I think partly, or entirely, because the word adventurous is a loaded word when we um, look it a bit more closer, adventurous often means a lot of work. And I myself, I was a teacher. Before I became a lecturer, I was a teacher in SMK Kulim High Tech for a year before I went into UPSI to become a tutor to pursue my master's and PhD. So I had a bit, if you can give me a credit, I have a bit of an experience teaching in schools. Not much, just over a year. But I understand. During that duration, I understand. It's very difficult, and that was, I think, 10, 15 years ago. And teachers right now at schools, I have a lot of my families are teachers. My wife, my own teacher, my own wife, is also a teacher. So I understand the predicaments that teachers nowadays face. I often, face a lot of, nagging back at home, when I went back home. I had to deal with that. Can you imagine? So yeah, I'm not putting the blame to the teachers. I understand teachers are the for me, from where I stand, I can see that teachers are much like the punching bag of the society. What's wrong with education? People seems to pretty much, levied it on top of teachers, which is very, very, unkind of them, very unfair for them. No, unfair for teachers, not for them. Be unfair for the teachers. So yeah, uh, being adventurous with your pedagogy means a lot of work. You have to put a lot of legwork on it, in it. uh, you know we can't move away from uh, a lot of preparations when we want to do a well designed kind of like instructions. So I would like to say and to iterate that our students are as good as how our pedagogical design or instructional design skills. Yeah, because we every day we face the options of whether or not we want to be exceptional in our pedagogical design, or we can just go with the flow, be sage on stage, do that behavioristic kind of like model of teaching. It is still considered as teaching. Nobody is going to bog us with that. Yeah. Yeah, in daily basis we face that kind of choices. And I can see that there are teachers. I'm not saying that all, or a lot of teachers are enthusiastically designing the lessons. I can see a lot of my friends or within my circles, and I hope that outside my circles are in the same case too. They have been quite adventurous in their pedagogical design, which I really, really respect them, because judging from the workload that you guys have right now, I really, really salute teachers who gone to the extra miles to design pedagogical design that are, or instructional design that are, exceptional, fun, giving opportunity for the students to explore the topic, to understand rather than to just receive and regurgitate it back. So I have a lot of respect to these kind of teachers. um, uh, on the screen, there is a URL there to my website where you can, read up more on my philosophical idea behind that statement. I believe in creative pedagogy that leverages technologies. I've also penned down the my experience of creative pedagogy, which some of it I will share in today's session. All right. So, how do we actually plan our teaching? I think most of us, uh, we either, if we step back, take a few step backs, we can see that either our lessons will fall on behavioristic kind of like model of teaching, or constructivist kind of model of teaching, or a bit of both, bit of combination of both. So that is generally, or if I can simplify lesson planning process, that is the gist of it, right? So whatever kind of like lesson plan designs that you've adopted of all these years, if you stop and take a step back, you will actually you can actually see the educational theory that governs your lesson design. All right, which is very good. If you cannot find any educational theories that is being the foundation of that lesson, you're in trouble. Because everything that is happening in the classroom should be based on any set of educational theory, right? For it to be able to be measured, to be meaningful, and yeah, yes. So that's how we generally plan our teaching. So after this, I'll be explaining the technical parts, and after that, I will share with you my experience on coming up with this. I am proud to say that it was a creative side of me being exposed to my student, and it was in during the PKP. More on that later. All right. So, before I delve into that, let me introduce you to the learning technology design model. All right. So this model is developed at UPSI by myself, and also Prof. Madia, technologist Dr. Mahizir Hamzah. So I think Dr. Mahizir's name is not tak asing lagi. It's not that he is a very well-known figure in education technology field in Malaysia, and currently he is in MIT US, MIT Open Learning, for his attachment for a few weeks. I think 2 or 3 weeks he will be there. And that I think is one of the most exciting journey, I think, for him. And let's hope that he will bring us, goodies, not just goodies from MIT, but goodies in terms of knowledge, and new things that are being developed at MIT for us to be shared. All right. So when we talk about technology, education, pedagogy, we can't really run away from these two frameworks, right? TPCK, as you guys know, it started from this PCK Schulman. PCK, when Mishra and Kohler asked where's the technological dimension in PCK, hence they introduced TPCK, another set of dimension on the Venn diagram. And since 2006, we've been using TPCK as our kind of like true north in terms of understanding, designing training materials, training courses, and whatnot, in terms of within the intersection of education, technology, and pedagogy, and which is very useful. We should thank we can't thank enough to Mishra and Kohler, because I think this framework is very much useful in terms of outlining the kind of knowledge that teachers must have. Um, yeah, in respect to these three kind of like different domains of knowledge. Yeah. So when we look closer, zoom closer into the TPCK framework, the content knowledge, there's not much to be said there, right? Because I believe as a well trained teacher, we must know our forte very well, the content at least. The TK, the technological knowledge, that is something that uh, ever evolving. All right, plus the pedagogical knowledge, right? I'm not going to delve deeper into this framework because I understand that this TPCK framework. You must have been listening to the explanation of TPCK for like since forever, right? So I will save yourself from the trouble of listening again. I won't bore you, so I will focus more on the um, area label number 2, all right, which is the TPK, technological pedagogical knowledge, which I think is the main reason why myself and Dr. Mahizi developed this LTDM, learning technology design method, right? And yeah, when we zoom in into that TPK, what we will be presented is this two domains of knowledge. One is TK, the other is PK. Under technological knowledge, us teachers, we need to have knowledge in terms of devices, how to operate it, what are the functionalities of certain devices, what they can do and what it can't do, the platforms like web apps, applications, systems, and things like that, and also the apps. All right. So that is our technological knowledge, and behind that, we also need to understand the concepts like technological affordances, the ASAMR, levels of technology integration, the substitution, augmentation, modification, and redefinition, the TAMS model, technology acceptance model, and innovation diffusion theory. Teachers, if you know these theories and also frameworks behind, governing your TK knowledge, that would be very much useful to understand how to better use a technology or how to adapt a certain technology. All right. On the other hand, the pedagogical knowledge, we will have stuff like student-centered strategies and approaches, teacher-centered strategies and approaches, and behind that we have the learning theories, all sort of concepts that are related to the teaching and learning, the education, the curriculum, and things like that. All right. So meshed in between, in the middle, is the overlapped area, is what we call technological pedagogical knowledge, and that is essentially an educated guess, an area where we as a teacher guess how technology can be infused with pedagogy. All right. And is this area is a volatile area. It depends on whether or not you are actively looking into or exploring new tools, a new pedagogical approach, and things like that. If you are not adventurous enough, if you are not exploring enough, then your your that the overlapped area will be stagnant, right? Stagnant. It won't be improved. It will just stay like that, right? Yeah, and that will manifest in terms of uh, the way you design your lessons, right? You will be limited to a very limited set of pedagogy with a very limited set of technology. So time and time again, I really really like to stress to my students the importance of being brave, being vigilant, and being adventurous enough to try not just new technology. Trying new technology is one thing. The other important thing is to understand how you can use the technology for your own good. Technology is malleable. It is a tool that you can actually shape or bend to your will if you know how. Yeah, if you know how. That is where the creative part comes. All right. So, what is actually LTDM? So, Learning Technology Design Method. It's an attempt to formularize this educated guess, kind of like, this the intersection between TK and BK. So, it's a pedagogy first approach to design instruction. So, oftentimes you will hear pedagogy first, technology second, or similar statement. But what I want to impose here or suggest here is another dimension of thinking, which is technology first, pedagogical first. It's a bit of conundrum. Yeah, I understand. It's a bit of, you know, um, probably to some, it's a bit of a troublesome, problematic statement. But I can assure you, it has its um, what do you call this, logic behind it. So let me tell you the logic behind it. So when we usually when we say pedagogy first, technology next, or technology second, for me personally, I think it's not that it's a very counterintuitive, at least for me, in terms of designing a lesson or designing a set of instruction. When we start with pedagogy first, then only that you look into what kind of technology is available to support that pedagogy. It's kind of like limiting yourself or boxing yourself into a very specific corner, uh, when you can actually have a bigger space when you consider your pedagogy and technology side by side. All right. So that is actually what I'm trying to say when I say technology first, pedagogy first. It should runs parallel. When you consider pedagogy, you should also see at the same time been thinking about what kind of technology can be used with this pedagogy and how that technology can expand this pedagogy. That's what I mean. Or if you like to start with technology first, so this technology with this certain set of features, how or what kind of like creative pedagogies that can be embedded or that can be carried out with this kind of tools. All right, some sort of like that. So it's I can say that it's sometimes it's messy, but if you have a lot of knowledge in terms of technological tools behind at the back of your mind, and at the same time you know a lot of pedagogical approaches, you can actually understand how to sync it simultaneously, how to use it simultaneously. You can actually think about be thinking about, probably I want to do flipped classroom, so I have this tool. Okay, I can uh, you know combine tool A, tool B, tool C to expand the flipped classroom model into a very unique approach, a different approach, a different kind of approach. All right, something like that. Um, as compared to if you say, okay, I want to do flipped classroom. Okay, flipped classroom, I need to host my videos online. All right, okay, so I use YouTube. That's very one-sided, or what I call this, using the technology like kind of like a disposable or one of use kind of like concept, whereas the technology itself has many other potentials that can it is a malleable concept, a malleable tool that you can bend to fit your pedagogical approach. Right. So we both of us, me and Mahizir, we sat down to actually think about how to help educators to properly map this educated guess using technology with being creative at the same time in terms of their pedagogy. So one of the elements that we adopted from the higher education paradigm in IPTs, uh, you know, we are accustomed to a concept we call OBE, objective based learning, OBE, and within that there is a term constructive alignment where we simply for the simplicity sake, all right, it's like aligning the learning objective of a course to and also its assessment to align those two to contribute to the greater program outline and also to institutions learning outcome. Yeah. So it is an alignment to actually being able to say that if a set of students have gone through uh, like 4 or 5 courses under a program, they should have been able to uh, um, you know uh, they should have mastered a certain set of skills that have been mapped or using this constructive alignment concept. All right. I hope that that is a bit simple uh, explanation about constructive alignment for you. For if you are interested to know more about constructive alignment, I would suggest read up more on OBE. All right, and you can understand a bit more of this. A very wonderful framework. It's yeah, framework. Okay, so what we've prepared, me and Dr. Mahize, we in order to assist the adoption of this LTDM, we've prepared a template for anyone who would like to adopt or adapt this method. All right, so this is the template. As you can see, it has the technology stack here. We got the initial pedagogical ideas, refined pedagogical ideas and contents. On this side, we have learner analysis, learning objectives. All right. So I'll explain to you step by step on how to actually use this template. So first is to fill up the technology stack, this stack. So what we are doing at this stage is to actually to pour out, to regurgitate back what we know about technology. So this is where we explore ourselves, our TK parts, the technological knowledge part, right? So under this technology stack, I've put in the instructional tools, the content development tools, social tools, personal tools, assessment tools. Example for instructional tools, maybe Google Classroom that can be used as instructional tools. Content development tools, for example, Lumen 5, You have what else? Content development. You got articulate and things like that. All right. Tools that you use to develop, learning nuggets and things like that. Social tools, probably Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, and things like that. Personal tools, probably blog like Blogger, WordPress. Um, what else? In recent times, we have a lot more this generaling web applications, very beautiful. For example, Medium.com. What else? There's a lot more. There's a lot more. And then assessment tools like Kahoot, quizzes, Flickrs, and things like that. So each of these tools, you shouldn't just list it down. You also need to understand, or you jot down what this specific tool can and can't do. All right. So there is a reason. There is a reason on why you should do that. Um, because for me, I think for you, for us to be effectively using a tool, you need to understand its boundaries, what it can do and what it can't do. All right. So that when you understand the boundaries of a certain tool, then only you understand how to bend it to your desire. All right. Otherwise, you won't have any clue on how this particular tool, can it be done like this, can it be done like that. It's all can be discovered through either watching tutorials on YouTube, searching for tutorials on YouTube, or you yourself try. If you have an idea and you wonder if this idea can be implemented in this particular tool, open that tool, try yourself. I've encountered failures a lot of time in my life. Failures in terms of, when I have an idea, and I think I have like 10 list of tools that I know at that time. So I will guess which tools probably are able to, uh, carry out that kind of idea that I have. Once I tried and then it can't, then it will signal me that okay, I have a very limited set of tools. I need to search more tools in order to accommodate this kind of idea that I have. Right. So as a result, as the time goes by, years goes by, I have a lot of technological tools under my belt. Yeah, and that is a very powerful weapon as a teacher, as an educator, to have. All right. So after we've filled the technology stack, all right. Next, learner analysis. So I think this is basic. This is something that we do a lot, uh, whether or not we are aware of it. All right, we analyze our learners either purposely or on the fly. All right, so we do this a lot, but the intention of me putting a box and title learner analysis is for us to purposely sit down and jot down our analysis of our learners. All right, because this is very important. And I think a lot of frameworks, instructional design frameworks out there starts with analysis with a lot of things. Eddie, what else? Assure. They start with A is analysis, right? So it's very it's not it against it becomes against the norm if I don't put analysis there. In fact, actually, this whole template is analysis. All right. So put down the learner's analysis there, what they can do, what are their previous knowledge, a little bit of background, their personality, and things like that. And after that, the third phase is to put in the learning objectives. All right, and this can be from the SKP if you are teaching in primary and secondary school. If you are teaching in a higher education institutions, then you can get them from the Proforma and things like that. All right. And from that learning objective, there must be a division between the cognitive, affective, and psychomotor kind of like expectations. All right. So currently, what we have with first, step one, step two, and step three, it's an exploration of what we actually have on our hand. All right. We have the technology, we have the learner analysis, and the learning objective. At this point of time, let me just remind to you that this model, this template, this model can be used to either plan a single lesson or a whole semester of a lesson. So if it is a single lesson, then the learning objective will be very specific based on that lesson plan. If it is for a semester long plan, then the learning objective will be much bigger in terms of the number and the cognitive, affective, and psychomotor expectations will have you will have a lot of expectations there. From there you can actually understand, all right, so based on the skp or based on pro forma, what kpm or the university actually wants the students to have. All right, just a basic overview of your expectation. Then after that, fill up the fourth step is to fill up the fourth step is to fill up the initial pedagogical ideas. So this is where you need to be crazy. All right, and I implore you, be crazy at this point. You don't have to think about whether this is possible to do or not. Based on the learning objective, based on your knowledge of the learners and your technological stack, what do you think can actually be done with those set of um, knowledge and information? All right, what kind of creative pedagogies that can be done using that? All right. So uh, after you have an overview idea or a general idea of what you want to do, then from there you go to you proceed to the fifth step, to refine that pedagogical idea and make it as a step by step procedure. If it is a lesson plan, a single lesson plan, then probably step one is the set induction, then what else, introduction, and so on and so forth. After that, conclusion. If it is a semester long, then week one, week two, week three, week four, up until week 14 or 13. So this is where you, based on the initial pedagogical idea, you expand it to a structured kind of like step-by-step procedures or a series of progression based on your pedagogical idea, based on the contents. All right, based on the cognitive expectation, because for the sixth step is for you to map. All right, for example, for step one, it fulfills the cognitive expectation, and step three also fulfills the cognitive expectation. Step two is involves psychomotor expectation and things like that. And for step one, for cognitive expectation, in terms of tool, it uses instructional tools, like for example a Google Classroom and as an example. Yeah, so this is the mapping part, all right, of the model. So after you have done this all six steps, what you have what you will have is a comprehensive overview of, if it is a lesson, um, a comprehensive overview of the integration between technology, pedagogy, and content. All right, what you have before this, we probably usually do like, okay, think about, all right, I have a topic, like for example photosynthesis. I am going to teach photosynthesis. All right, I will use technology. All right, slides. Okay, I will use Google Slide. And then for assessment, okay, I will use worksheets, or make it more exciting, quizzes, something like that. We tend to actually go by the flow, but using this template, using this model, all right, this method, what you have, if it is designed for a semester long, you will see the process of, the intersection between pedagogy, technology, and also the content. Your TPCK is actually here. So how to use this method? I think I only have 15 minutes left. Correct me if I'm wrong. I will try to explain to you, share with you what I did using this LTDM method in one of my classes when I was in UPSI. All right. So a little bit background of the case. It was for KPD 3016. So KPD 3016 is a course, is a very huge course. Previously, during our time, Dr. Faisal Farish, there were four courses separately. Pedagogy is a course on its own. Technology is a course on its own. Assessment is course on its own. Psychology is a course on its own. So I think around 2016, 2014, UPSI decided that it needs to be integrated. These four courses, then they've integrated it and make it to as a 12 credit hour subject. So because it is too big, 12, they have chopped it into half. So first semester they will take 6 credit. The second semester they will take another 6 credit. So it's 100% coursework. There's no paper and pencil tests at the end of the semester. All coursework. And in my case, at that time, I got students 8006. They were TESOL students. There were 24 of them. Okay. So as I've mentioned previously, this was during PKP. So all physical classes cancelled. The teaching and learning has to be carried out online or remote. Okay, and materials has to be sent to students via snail mail. All right, and revision has to be made on the original pro forma to suit this new direction. Luckily, I think a lot of IPTs, we were accustomed with blended learning kind of like model and method. So switching to fully online, some lecturers, I won't deny, some lecturers had this struggle. They were struggling in terms of adapting to fully online kind of like teaching. But for me, it was a seamless integration because usually my classes, it, I happen to had a semester where I did 80-20, 80 online, 20 face to face, because certain restrictions came up at that during that semester, so I had to do a lot of online classes, right? So in my situation, I have TESOL students. They have most of them have good and or to excellent internet connections. Some were at residential colleges around campus, and others situated at various locations throughout Malaysia. So I would like to bring you back during the PKP. All right, all the classes had to be done online, and now online classes have become the new norm. Everybody is doing it. Every teachers, every classes is online class. All right, so I was looking in the perspective of the students. Students daily, day in, day out. At that time, they had to open their laptop, switch on their Zoom or Google Meet and listen to their lecturers, trying very hard to transform the normal lecture into an online lecture. It was literally lecturing online in front of a piece of equipment here. And most of the lecturers were who were accustomed with Sage on stage. They were also augmenting that kind of mode on the online sphere. So those students were experiencing this screen fatigueness. So I thought to myself, how can I change this? I don't want my class to be that same next class, uh, which the students are not looking forward to have, because they have a lot of classes daily. So how to stands out from the rest of the crowd? So I decided to transform the whole online classroom experience into a huge role play. Role play, basically, I think we are all aware and very familiar. We usually use role play, in a very small time box kind of like process or method, or yeah, you know what I mean, right? We have, like, for example, 30 minutes. So we spend 10 to 15 minutes for the students to role play to understand the context of what we are trying to teach them. But I flipped that on its head. I used that role play and that class experience the whole semester, 14 weeks, as a huge role play. And I decided to choose Harry Potter as a theme because I'm not a Potterhead per se, but I like the books and the movies, especially the movies. I really fond of hearing Stephen, uh, you know, reading the audiobook version. So I had the plan. All right. So as you know, the KPD is consists of pedagogy, technology, and assessment. So I had to so-called rewrite the whole 14-week of course to fit into this narrative, to fit into this, Hogwarts School of Teaching Crafts and Technology narrative. So what I have is I have Hogwarts exploration, which for a few weeks, which we explore different kinds of pedagogy. So I used a lot of movie clips from the Harry Potter movies, uh, showing them different methods of teaching that has been displayed within the movies themselves, as a tool to explore pedagogy. And then in between, if you can see the green boxes, that is Quidditch matches. So basically, it's quizzes. So I've redesigned it to be Quidditch matches. We have Portkey creation. If you are familiar with Hogwarts and Harry Potter, Portkey is a tool or a stuff that can transport you from point A to point B. So that's basically what Portkey is. So I use that analogy for exploration of technology, which the assignment was for them to use Google Site as a port key, as a what do you call this, a transportation hole, to get users to enter into a different realm when they visit the Google site. So they have to design the Google site very well, and so on and so forth. And then we have this assessment. I use the Marauders map as and as an analogy, because the assessment is where the students had to use to come up with the JSK JSU. It's very tricky. They have to understand JSU, the concept of JSU, JSK, how to prepare a comprehensive test. So that is in itself is a Marauders map. And after that, finding Horcruxes. The final part of it is finding Horcruxes, meaning converging or bringing everything, all of these three components together. All right. So that was my plan. All right. And while doing this, because I understand, I have tools at the back of my hand, at the back of my head. For those who graduated from UPSI, I think you are very familiar with my guru. My guru is UC's own homegrown LMS, but it's quite limited in terms of its functionality. So I ditched my guru and I used Discord, because Discord, we are able to assign rules to the students, and we using that rules, I can actually assign students to the four different houses, and I can assign for each houses who were the head of the house. Yeah. So using that rules, I can actually divide those 24 students into their own houses. All right. And this came quite a surprise for me, because this is an afterthought, because I channeled them, or assigned them to different houses. They became very competitive, because during quizzes, I use these quizzes to award points to the houses, much like in the movies. So they were actually PM me, private messaging me, saying, "Sir, doctor, when's the next Quidditch match? I want to score more scores for my house." That was, I think, an aha moment, which I didn't design it to have an effect like that, but it had a very profound effect onto the students, and I really really like that. Okay, this was the setup. As For those who are not familiar with Discord, so this is actually how Discord looks like. It's very much akin to, if you are aware or familiar with MRIC, the old chat room, kampung, village, and things like that. So it's much like that. So I was able to actually create different rooms for them to actually discuss in the room for any task. There is a communal area, common room, where everybody can actually banter back and forth. I also jumped into those kind of, while they're bantering, they use a lot of memes. And I also, in return, I also use a lot of memes, and they were very excited that an old lecturer understand their culture, their memes. So yeah, I use a lot of these features in Discord, because I understand the platform and what it can do. All right. So in Discord also, the students can demonstrate, or present. We can much like Zoom, much like what we are having right now, but internally inside Discord. So this is a sample of the technology that I use. I use majority of it. I use Google ecosystem. I also use Edpuzzle, Coursera, Padlet, and also Flipgrid. This is a sample of the Quidditch poster that I posted every time. Every time I posted this, there was an uproar in the common room. The house points. This was, I think, week 3. Yeah, after week 3, after a certain task, these were the what we call the ranking, the house points. So this is a sample of scoring. So I use peer review method in during this the few times. Yeah. So I use to giving them the rubric of measurement, and then get them to actually rate their friends' presentation. All right. This is the original outline, the pro forma for the 14 weeks. This is just part of it until week 7. So I use this, and I remapped it into CLO, using to making sure that all CLOs are fulfilled. And I also have extra continuous and group assessment. I align it with assessment artifacts like essay, what they need to submit and things like that, and also the marks division. So everything is remapped accordingly. Yeah, this is the continuation of it. This is the sample of them using Flipgrid as one of the assessment feedback tool. And these were the early feedbacks that I got from the students. Um, yeah, 100% 100% totally positive feedback, because they said that my class was very different from other classes at that time, because I use a lot of, I use role play. During the first week they were a bit reluctant, but when they saw my enthusiasm, they were, they at the end they enjoyed it. Yeah. And this were some of the course feedback they had to submit after completing a course. So yeah, as you can see, positive feedback, alhamdulillah. So what I carried out with the student it was teaching by design, because in my class it is designed the content is designed to teach the students on pedagogy, technology, assessment, and apart from content, right? So what I had with them, I demonstrated the pedagogy, I demonstrated how to actually integrate technology into your pedagogy, I demonstrated how to actually carry out assessment with technology, and they experience it themselves, not unlike, the normal class that I usually carry out, where where I told them, okay, in pedagogy you have to have this. At that time I didn't tell them, I showed them. So that was the difference in terms of experience that I and the students had. So the whole semester work as an example, a very huge example of creative pedagogy. All right. So that, I think, really seals the class really well for that semester. Yeah. All right. I think if you can, look back into the method, the template I use a lot. I first explored what I know about the technology that I know, the tools, and what it can do and what it can't do. Then I analyzed the learner, and the context at that time was PKP. So I had to check their internet connections, and their preparedness in terms of whether they have devices and things like that. Then I had to rearrange the learning objectives for the 14 over weeks into a more doable, more manageable kind of like curriculum. And then I explored a concept which is, for me, it's out of this world, because I at that time that was the first time. I implemented LTDM, and I wanted to be adventurous. It was pretty exhaustive for me, because I had to do a lot of, preparation behind the scene. All the posters I have to design. Thank God I got Canva, so the designing is was more, fluent and very fast. So yeah, and then I remapped it to the weeks per weeks. So yeah, I've showed you the method. I've showed you how to use it. So I hope that my sharing today here be beneficial for everyone. I hope I inspired, if not some, all of you, okay, to be, to be adventurous in your pedagogical and technological design. So I think on that note, I would like to open for any question from the floor.
Okay, thank you, Dr. Hafiz, uh, for that insightful presentation. For me, it is interesting to see how Harry Potter fits into this method. If I were to try out, I would perhaps start with Star Wars theme, perhaps. Okay, it's now for us to engage in question and answer session. So we encourage all of our participants to actively participate by sharing their questions and thoughts. And to ask question, please use the chat or Q&A feature there, and we will do our best to address your questions. Yeah. So I think we have received one question from I think Miss Newasini. She asks, Doctor, may I know how can educators and instructional designers who may not have a background in technology start applying your design principles to improve their instructional materials and methods?
All right, thank you, Niwasini,
Yeah.
Niwasini, for the for the question. So you are asking whether no no how um, an educator who might not have adequate technological background to explore, understand, and use this method. Yeah, I think as what I shared with all of you just now, the first thing first is to regurgitate what you have. So it's very good that you understand that you are lacking in certain part. That is the first step towards advancements. So you understand that you do not have, or have an insufficient amount of knowledge in terms of the technological part. So the next best thing is for you to start tinkering with technology. You can watch a lot of YouTube videos. Frankly speaking, right now I am able to program or to build a program, to build a web application, however I want it. And I should thank all the YouTubers from YouTube who I have listened and watched again and again to understand certain concepts, certain tools that I need to to understand how to use it. Because YouTube is a treasure trove. So you can ask Uncle Google or Makcik YouTube to help you with that journey. Yeah. So as soon as you understand, or get some ideas or new tools in your in your repertoire of technology knowledge, then I think you can start adapting the LTDM step by step and see how it goes. Be adventurous. The point is, be adventurous in your technology and also pedagogy. Yeah, I hope that's answers that.
Okay. Thank you, Dr. Hafiz. I think we have one more question comes into the chat box there. Okay, the question is from Jessica. What are the key distinctions between adopting a technology first, pedagogy first approach and a pedagogy first, technology second approach when designing effective learning experiences?
All right, thank you, Jessica, for the question. So, uh, the key distinction is, from my point of view, is that for technology first, pedagogical first, it doesn't treat technology as an afterthought of when you are in the process of designing an instruction. When you use pedagogy first, technology second, technology becomes an afterthought, meaning that whatever the pedagogy your chosen pedagogy, it will guide uh, which kind of technology you adopt. Whereas it differs greatly when you put the technology and pedagogy side by side. Like for example, if we are to think about technology as a single use product, for example Google Form. For a single use product, we understand that Google Form use we can use it as a survey tool, right? for questionnaire and things like that. Have you ever thought that using Google Form to actually create an interactive novel? Have you ever thought that? Because
Correct.
in Google
Correct.
Form, in Google Form, we have these conditional statements, right? You
Uh,
can actually enable conditional statement if a user chooses A or B answer, then redirect them to probably section C or section Z. So you can, if you have that kind of knowledge and you understand, Google Form can do that. You can actually steer away from the normal use of Google Form for collecting surveys and things like that. You can transform that or repurpose that, and this is where the SAMR framework, the
Redefinition, I think.
yeah, the
Yeah.
redefinition part is where you redefine a survey form, a survey tool. You redefine it into a interactive novel or interactive fiction kind of like tool. So where students come in, they read a statement, they choose where to go next, and that will govern the whole experience, and it can be very dynamic. So you can have a treasure hunt inside that Google form and things like that. So I think when you start looking at technological tools like that, you are actually looking technology and layering at the same time pedagogy on it in it. So that is what I mean about technology first, pedagogy first. Yeah. Thank you. I hope that that answers the question.
Thank you, Dr. Hafiz. Do we have more questions? Okay, I think we are out of time. So I think that's all for the questions. And thank you, Hafiz, again for your invaluable insights and also for sharing your expertise with us today. And we have had an engaging and informative session. And I hope our participants also found it as enlightening as I myself did. Yeah. So before we conclude today's webinar, I would like to leave you all with a few key takeaways from our discussion today, which is number one, learning technology design method that has been introduced just now is an attempt to familiarize educated guests. Secondly, pedagogy and technology, like what Tafi said, can go hand in hand to ensure the effective utilization of technology in teaching and learning. Thirdly, I believe the learning technology design method provides a structured approach to harnessing the potential of technology in education, incorporating both TP knowledge domains. And last but not least, continuous learning and adaptation are essential. Technology evolves, and so uh, then as to extend our heartfelt thanks again to Dr. Muhammad Hafiz for his enlightening presentation and for generously sharing his expertise with us today. Thank you very much. See you
Thank
all
you,
again.
thank you, thank you, LTC, and thank you, everyone.